Tonight, a new bill pushing for more parental control on social media is blocked, at least for now. Kasha Hancock has more tonight on that impact.
Right now, there's a lawsuit blocking the legislation that will require parents to consent for kids under the age of 16 to use certain social media apps. But one local school says they know the dangers of social media all too well. Inside Dayton Christian School, administrators know social media can be both a blessing and a curse.
We just recently did a parent survey asking parents to tell us the 3 biggest hurdles to their students' social and emotional well-being, and social media, no surprise, ended up as the #1 concern that parents had.
The Social Media Parental Notification Act requires parental permission before allowing children under age 16 to use certain social media platforms. It also requires companies to provide parents with privacy guidelines showing them what will be censored. If a parent doesn't consent, the company can deny access. Parents and teachers at Dayton Christian School expressed their concern of the act being blocked.
There is a lot of concern for social media and the amount of comparisons that are being done by the people that are behind the cameras that have the ability to put filters on things and to tailor their story.
The lawsuit filed by NetChoice challenges parents' beliefs, saying it violates users' First Amendment rights and can impact social media platforms economically.
And so you have both of those working together in this case, the right to express and the right to hear the speech. And the judge felt as if the law was way too restrictive.
Professor Clausen says the judge thought the act was too broad. A trial will soon be scheduled to determine whether or not the lawsuit will be permanent or to dismiss the case. Dayton Christian School plans to host a meeting with a nationally recognized social media expert to show parents tools and resources on how to protect their children on social media. That'll be at 6:30 p.m. on March 5th. Back to you.
Kasha, thank you. And a grand jury has indicted 3 new people in the First Energy bribery scheme. They used the bribe, I should say, to pass and uphold a $1 billion bailout for 2 of its Ohio nuclear power plants. First Energy's former CEO Chuck Jones and Senior Vice President Michael Dowling face charges, along with former chairman of the Public Utilities Commission of Ohio, Sam Randazzo. All 3 face 27 felony counts, including public corruption, bribery, money laundering, and others. Former House Speaker Larry Householder was also convicted in this scandal. He's currently serving 20 years behind bars.
A freshman at Marymount High School is credited with stopping a planned mass shooting last week. Boom Swallen heard the suspect talk about the plans and was threatened not to say anything. But he still stepped forward to warn others and save lives. Chloe Markley spoke to Boom about his courageous actions.
Freshman at Marymount High School, Boom Swallen is now seen as a hero in the community. By speaking up, he potentially saved many lives.
He just told me some very disturbing things, and I acted like I wasn't really in my mind. It was very disturbing hearing it, but I acted like it wasn't disturbing just so he would tell me more.
The 14-year-old suspect told Boom his plans to kill, torture, and rape people at the school. And although the suspect threatened Boom if he told anyone, Boom knew he had no choice.
Immediate. I mean, right when I heard that, I told everyone immediately.
Boom told his dad, teachers, and the police everything.
I was proud of him for telling me that, even, against the threat it made to his life and everything, and he did exactly what I've always taught him, to stand right up to evil and have no fear of it and to protect his peers.
The Swallen's pastor, David Palmer, says he is proud of Boom for speaking up and helping to protect the community from a tragedy.
For Boom, he didn't hesitate, and making the courageous decision, a heroic decision, is something you make if you're used to making decisions like that. Trying to follow Christ and look out for others, that's a habit, and that's something that it gets tested in a moment like that.
Boom says he has received a lot of thank yous from other students at Marymount High School, all grateful for his courageous act. He says if any students hear threats like this one, speak up right away before it's too late.
I would encourage them to tell any teacher immediately and just tell the police and everyone about it, because stuff like shootings happen a lot in this world, and a lot of lives, a lot of people lose their lives, and it's very serious, and needs to be spoken on immediately.
That was Chloe Markley reporting. Now, the Colorado Springs man that worked with a teen charged in this school shooting plot is still free tonight. The FBI and police say he's not in custody because no charges have been filed due to probable cause connected to their specific laws. But the FBI, Colorado Springs, and Marymount Police investigation does continue tonight. Hamilton County Prosecutor Melissa Powers is trying to get the 14-year-old suspect tried as an adult. Now, he is charged with conspiracy to commit aggravated murder. If convicted as an adult, the maximum sentence is life in prison with the possibility of parole after 35 years. If convicted in juvenile court, the maximum sentence is confinement until he turns 21. The 14-year-old is scheduled in court next Wednesday.
And back in our area, an investigation underway after a shooting in Harrison Township this weekend. The Montgomery County Sheriff's Office says it happened at the Speedway here on North Main Street. When deputies got there, they say they found the victim with a gunshot wound. Now, we're working to learn more on their condition. If you have any information about what happened, you're asked to contact the number right there. It's on your screen.
And tonight, a 1-year-old is now recovering in the hospital with life-threatening injuries after accidentally shooting themselves. Deputies say it happened on Republic Drive in Harrison Township yesterday. Medics immediately took the child to a local hospital. Deputies say the child was left unattended with the gun while the parents slept. The Special Investigations Unit is now investigating.
And this man, 27-year-old Tavion Glenn, has now been indicted on 4 counts. That includes 2 counts of murder for the deadly shooting of his wife inside their Kettering home. Now, last June, Glenn went to the Montgomery County Jail to report he did something to his wife and she may be injured. And when police got there to their home on California Avenue, they found his wife, 28-year-old Sierra Still, shot multiple times. Now, we got a live look at the Montgomery County Jail's website now. You can see Glenn is currently being held there on a $1 million cash bond. He's set to be arraigned on Thursday.
Moving on to weather, a little chilly out there tonight. Is that going to be sticking around with us, you think?
Yes, another cold one. Did you see the frost this morning? Were you out early enough for that?
No.
There was a little bit of frost out there. We could see a little bit more of it today as temperatures drop into the upper 20s to right around 30. You can see low this morning, we started off at 28. 49 is where we got to with a little bit of sunshine this afternoon. Once those clouds filtered in, we did start to cool down a bit. 40 our normal high, so 9 degrees above average, but not quite hitting the record of 68 set in 1984. Now, conditions right now, you can see dry, mostly clear, but we do have some clouds in the area. Unfortunately, temperatures right around 37. Feels like we're in the 20s, though. We do have a northeast wind right around 12 miles per hour, and that'll continue through the night. We could even see some gusty conditions, winds around 15 to 25, maybe even 30 miles per hour.
Well, starting March 1st, Montgomery County will require SNAP recipients to re-qualify for their benefits every year. Lydia Bice explains why they're going back to this system and what it means for you.
Montgomery County is trying to get back to their pre-pandemic way of doing things, so starting in March, SNAP recipients will have to get recertified. This means that each year they'll have to do an over-the-phone interview in order to keep their benefits. Now, they will also get a notice in the mail from the state with instructions.
SNAP recertification interviews are conducted by phone. The appointment notice will provide the recipient with their scheduled time and date to call in for their scheduled phone interview.
The Montgomery County Family Assistance Division says that if you do miss your over-the-phone interview, don't worry. As long as you call within 30 days from your scheduled appointment, they'll be sure to help you with your recertification. Now, if you head over to the web version of this story on Dayton247now.com, you can read more about how 2 local agencies, the Food Bank and Dayton Metro Library, are helping people across the Miami Valley who may have food insecurities. Back to you.
Well, some heavy hearts in Tip City, how one Tippecanoe teacher and coach is being remembered by the Red Devil community.
And a devastating plane crash on a Florida highway. What we're learning about the victims involved and the very latest on the investigation.
And coming up, your full forecast on what to expect the rest of this weekend into the weekend. Here's a look at your Ecopluma Skycam. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Tonight, the Tippecanoe High School community is remembering a teacher and coach. Scott Downing, who made an impact as a player, assistant coach, and head coach with the boys soccer team, passed away this weekend following complications from a health condition. He led the Red Devils to their first state championship in 2019 and had a major influence on the 2023 state title team as well. Matt Digby spoke with the current Red Devil coaches about Downing's legacy.
There's so many fun and funny, joking moments that we've had together that has kind of kept you going.
Remembering the good times. That's how the Tippecanoe boys soccer community will honor a former player, assistant coach, and head coach in Scott Downing.
I've cherished the videos and the moments and the pictures that we've had together. That it's just been fun because that's who he is, and that's what he would want, is think about all of the fun times, because I really can't remember any bad moments that we had together.
The spider web of soccer players, both men and women, or boys and girls, is incredible.
As a head coach, Downing led the Red Devils to a state championship in 2019, and he had a significant influence behind the Red Devils' title run this past fall. But beyond the on-the-field results, it's the people he affected off the field in positive ways.
His recognition that coaching is about more than just the athletics, and that it's not always the former star athlete that brings everything to the table. Neither of us would be coaches were it not for him.
He celebrates. He has fun. He wants to get together. He likes the camaraderie. That's who he is. I don't know how else you could describe talking about Scott Downing's life in any other way. It's just a celebration, and the funny stories and the moments that you shared with him.
And there is a celebration of life planned for Downing at Tippecanoe High School. It's currently scheduled for the afternoon of Sunday, February 25th. Back to you.
Alrighty, now taking a look at our futurecast here. Clouds tonight, and then moving through the morning, those will clear out. We'll have some pretty fair conditions to start your day. And then we'll have a northwesterly flow off of the Great Lakes. We'll bring in some upper air moisture, bring us a little bit of cloud cover to mix in with the sunshine. Now, as we head into the overnight hours and into Wednesday morning, looks like we have a very weak low pressure clipper system just kind of quickly dive through wherever this lines up. There's some saying it'll be a little bit more north. It's just going to quickly come through, drop a quick dusting or so, and then get out of here very quickly. And we clear out on Wednesday afternoon. Plenty of sunshine through the rest of the day for a nice Valentine's Day evening for you if you're out celebrating that night. Now, Thursday morning, you can see most of the energy with this low pressure off to our north, some heavy rain and snow. But a cold front will dip down below it, bringing us some early morning showers and clouds in the afternoon.
Well, we're learning more tonight about that deadly plane crash that happened on I-75 in Naples, Florida Friday. It took off from the Ohio State University Airport. 5 people were on board. 2 were killed, 3 hurt when both the plane's engines failed just minutes from the runway. The Collier County Sheriff's Office has identified them tonight. Carly Van Cleve shares their names and what we know about the engine failure.
The pilot, 50-year-old Edward Murphy, and co-pilot, 65-year-old Ian Hoffman, both of Florida, died in that fiery crash. 2 of the passengers, 35-year-old Aaron Baker and 23-year-old Audra Greene, are from Columbus. Both survived, taken to a local hospital for treatment. A third survivor, crew member 23-year-old Sydney Ann Bosmans of Jupiter, Florida. The local sheriff's office not providing an update on their conditions.
Okay, Challenger Hopperjet 823 lost both engines, emergency. I'm making an emergency landing.
Just before the charter jet went down, the pilot alerting air traffic controllers that the plane had lost both engines.
Everybody stand by. There's an alert 3 in progress.
I can tell you it's highly unusual to lose both engines at one time.
We spoke with an aviation attorney, Robert Clifford. He says investigators have a lot to sort through as they work to determine a cause.
Was it a contaminated fuel? Was it a bad switch that turned the engines off? Was it something that the pilots did or didn't do?
The plane was not associated with OSU. It's owned by a company called Hopperjet. We reached out to them, but they had no comment.
And that was Carly Van Cleve reporting. We now have a date for the president's visit to East Palestine. It's this Friday. This comes just over a year after the devastating toxic train derailment there. The White House says he's going to talk about how the administration is working to support the community and hold Norfolk Southern accountable.
He also has heard loud and clear from the folks in East Palestine that they don't want to be defined by an event, and so he'll speak to the administration's work to deliver on the needs for family businesses that are affected.
Now, that derailment and controlled burn of hazardous chemicals last February left East Palestine residents concerned about their water and soil. The president has faced scrutiny himself for not visiting the village sooner.
Well, the U.S. is now calling on Israel to create a plan to protect more than 1 million civilians in Rafah before the start of their ground operations. This after Israel airstrikes killed about 100 Palestinians overnight. But the State Department is saying these strikes don't mark the start of the full-scale attack yet.
We think there needs to be a credible plan that they can actually execute before they undertake any military campaign in Rafah.
Now, the U.S. reiterated it will not support Israel's operation if a civilian protection plan is not made.
Now, despite the State Department's call to Israel about their military operation in Gaza, they are still facing questions tonight about why the U.S. doesn't threaten to withhold funding for Israel to get better protection for civilians. A spokesman for the State Department says they are doing what they can.
Okay, we use the tools that are available. We use the tools that are available to try to influence policy. They are imperfect, and there are ways in which we have been able to show tangible results and more that we want to do, and that is why we continue to stay engaged.
But there are others who would say that you have a multitude of billions.
U.S. officials argue Israel has made efforts to protect civilians, and U.S. diplomacy has led to hostage releases and additional aid to people in Gaza. Now, the State Department says Israel has the right to attack legitimate military targets.
Let's give you a live look tonight from our Eco Plumbers Sky Cam right now and send things out to meteorologist Tim Boyd.
All right, it is a pretty chilly evening out here on the Watson's weather patio tonight. Temperatures right now sitting right around 37 in Dayton, dropping steadily now. 34 out towards Richmond and Greenville, 32 up towards Wapakoneta. And there's a little bit of a breeze right now, picking up a little bit. Troy 15 miles per hour, 12 miles per hour right around Dayton. So those wind chills, now we feel like we're in the 20s. So 29 in Dayton, 25 out towards Richmond, and 24 is what it feels like in Greenville. Next couple of days, temperatures staying just above average. Average for this time of year is 40 degrees. We're going to be a couple degrees above that, topping out on Thursday.
Well, today is the last day to donate to the Super Bowl of Caring. Community leaders across the Miami Valley are joining together to combat hunger in the area. The Super Bowl of Caring is helping to eliminate child hunger in Dayton. Our partners will be accepting food and monetary donations throughout the area. Those donations will be distributed to 3 local organizations: the Food Bank, For Love of Children, or Flock, and the House of Bread. You can contribute by taking out your phone and scanning the QR code to make a donation. The donation drive ends today.
Tonight, local neighborhoods pushing for the passing of Issue 6. Why Dayton's mayor says this issue is crucial.
You're watching Dayton 24/7 now. Well, today, neighborhoods, for Dayton's future held a campaign kickoff event for the campaign to pass Issue 6. Issue 6 is the City of Dayton's income tax renewal that was passed as Issue 9 back in 2016. Passing the issue would not increase taxes, but would provide funding to city improvements, police, fire, among other things. Mayor Jeffrey Mims says not passing this issue will actually stop the progress Dayton is making.
Well, this is important for Dayton because if it does not pass, we'll have to cut a lot of basic services. And none of the good things that we have been doing in the past will continue along that process. We've been making a lot of great progress over the